This weak virgin boy gets transported to an entirely different world alone, where he is forced to fight with monsters and find food himself to survive each day. A young man lives in a monotonous routine where every day feels the same, a stability he thinks should comfort him but only leaves him yearning for change. One evening after work, he switches on the TV and is suddenly pulled inside, confronted by a figure who claims to oversee the solar system. Startled, he asks if this makes the stranger an alien, but the being explains he is more like a divine middle manager of the universe. Frustrated, the overseer laments the endless failures of a planet called Medius, where civilizations repeatedly collapse. He insists that even a single drop can alter the course of the world, and he wants this ordinary Japanese worker to be that drop. The man learns he is already dead. Refusal means his soul vanishes forever, but acceptance grants him passage to Medius with special abilities of his choosing. As an example, the overseer shows extreme magical potential in his ledger. Eager, the worker requests pleasant female companions and improved recognition skills to identify valuable materials, both of which the overseer promises to grant. He's granted a pouch for storage, instant knowledge of the local language, and several resistances. Then his body starts fading, terrifying him, until the supervisor calmly says it's time to go. Realizing he may have given too many gifts, the man knows it's already too late. The ordinary office worker is sent to a fantasy world, where he opens his eyes to breathtaking scenery that leaves him stunned. Unsure of what to do, he decides to seek people and soon spots a distant village. Without money for food, he recalls his recognition ability and thinks he can gather materials as sell. Testing it, he picks up a stick as a wand and shouts a command, but nothing happens, leaving him embarrassed. Writing the word "search" in the dirt and repeating it aloud, glowing symbols appear, guiding him to scattered resources. Realizing the need for correct command words, he experiments with others like check, investigate, and scan. To his surprise, one works, opening a panel that details a flower's traits. Excited, he collects items all around, though most turn out to be disappointingly low-ranked. He accidentally picks up what he later realizes is a lump of dung, but the mishap teaches him that tradable items appear with icons trackable by recognition magic. After gathering enough, he rushes to the village, eager to learn their value before nightfall. At the gate, a drowsy guard questions him, and the young man introduces himself as Takeru. Surprised by his height, the guard guesses he's a warrior, but Takeru explains he only came to sell materials. The guard, a patrolman of the village, notes it's rare to see someone skilled in gathering and directs him to the general store since there's no dedicated materials shop. As Takeru enters, villagers eye him curiously. At the store, he shows the merchant the dung, who identifies it as hammer antler excrement and praises its unique qualities, offering 5 silver coins. Unsure of its worth, Takeru asks the inn's price, learning one night costs 500 yen while silver is worth 1,000. Realizing the dung equals about 50,000 yen, he's shocked such filth is so valuable and even more disturbed watching the merchant lovingly rub it against his cheek. The shopkeeper, intrigued, asks to see more of the traveler's goods and is stunned when Takeru's pouch reveals even rarer items. Curious about his presence in such a remote town, he learns that the young man has been roaming and gathering materials. Seizing the chance, the merchant offers him a job to collect mithril ore from the eastern mountain, warning that monsters inhabit the area. Before that, he pays Takeru 360,000 raves, roughly 3.6 million yen, for the materials, an amount that shocks the boy. Later, Takeru finally secures a room, longing only for a bath. Instead, an inn worker barges in carrying a basin of hot water, explaining it costs 30 raves since commoners lack proper bathtubs, with only nobles or mages offering better alternatives, and no mages live in the village. Amused but uninterested in more talk, Takeru pays the fee with a small tip that delights her. Left alone, he reflects on the idea of magic as a way to cleanse the body. After some thought, the man tests a word as a spell and shouts "clean." The skill works, leaving Takeru spotless and glowing with joy, though he secretly wishes for a real bath. The next day, he returns to the forest near Torre, feeling more confident in collecting materials to sell. While searching, he discovers a sword icon marking a fallen warrior's remains, and despite the unimpressive weapons, he buries the body with care, using the sword as a grave marker. By afternoon, he draws a circle, speaks barrier, and watches his shield shimmer before fading, giving him peace of mind. He then cooks stew with village spices, forest vegetables, and meat, savoring the taste of his new life. When dawn arrives, Takeru heads toward the forest of white trees known as the Land of Ancient Dragons. In the eastern mountains where mithril was rumored to be, Takeru pushed through dark woods with only an orb of light, growing irritated at the lifeless silence. No ore, no creatures, nothing but emptiness. Maybe even monsters avoided his stench. Deciding to press on, he rushed toward the mountain, only to charge blindly off a cliff. By sheer luck, his desperate cry of "glide" activated a spell that slowed his fall, landing him gently in a hidden valley rich with silver veins. He set to work with his pickaxe, but remembered the merchant wanted mithril, not silver. Using search magic again, he sensed a faint signal deeper within a cavern, right as the ground began to tremble. With little time, he blasted through the rock using Ignite and Eruption, uncovering an A-rank mithril vein. The quake urged him to flee, yet his greed pulled him farther in, where at the back of the cave he stumbled upon a spring of crystal-clear water. While examining the material, Takeru realizes it's S rank, his greatest find so far. The thought strikes him. If this water carries the mana of an ancient dragon, perhaps one once lived here. His suspicion is confirmed when the dragon itself rises from the lake. Instead of cowering, he withstands its pressure and apologizes for intruding, a habit carried over from his days as a Japanese laborer who bowed to everyone. Yet he never imagined bowing to a dragon. Amused, the beast asks who he is. Takeru introduces himself as an ordinary human, but the dragon senses otherwise, his power rivals its own. Introducing itself as Voldias, the creature allows Takeru to call him Van when the boy casually asks. With the tension eased, Voldias reveals his wish. A human's pure magic might awaken his dormant child's egg, long stilled by stagnant mana. In exchange, he offers mithril. Takeru agrees, and the dragon retrieves a massive black egg from the depths, instructing him to channel magic into it as he once did with his guiding light. Unsure, Takeru whispers heat, sending warmth into the shell, only for a far more unsettling reaction to erupt. The egg felt like it was consuming Takeru, driving his very skin inward as the dragon's laughter echoed through the cavern. He feared he'd been deceived, his adventure ending so pathetically, yet just when hope had begun to spark. His consciousness slipped into an astral sea where a mysterious figure appeared, chastising him for recklessly diving into danger. Any ordinary person would have fled before a dragon, yet Takeru's defiance seemed to warp the world's laws themselves. The being revealed had been shaping this realm for eons, but Takeru's presence spread disruptive ripples it could not ignore. Annoyed, it resolved to reduce some powers he had gained from the overseer of the solar system. Takeru awoke to a baby's babble within a void, followed by Voldias' voice. Conjuring light, he discovered the dragon's child had hatched, jet black and full of life. As thanks, Voldias allowed him to name the hatchling. Takeru chose B, short for black, though the dragon misunderstood it as B, and the name stuck. Declaring that the child must journey with Takeru, Voldias entrusted the boy with a duty he found heavy but unavoidable. Before sinking back into the depths, the dragon cast a strange spell on Takeru's bag. Left with the newborn, Takeru invited B to join him in gathering supplies, only to realize the little creature reeked terribly. With a grimace, he used his cleaning skill to spare himself from an unbearably smelly trip. If you're enjoying the journey of this series, please hit that like and subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. All of your support helps me to keep bringing more high-quality recaps.